Disclaimer. All opinions expressed by Logan and Cody and all the guests on the Logan and Cody Show are solely their opinions and do not reflect the opinions of any affiliates. Logan and Cody and the guests of the Logan and Cody Show's opinions are based upon information they consider reliable but not its affiliates. The opinions expressed by Logan and Cody and all guests on the Logan and Cody Show should not be taken seriously, and all statements are meant to be humorous in nature. Logan and Cody, the Logan and Cody Show guests stand by all comments said on the show, and all said does in fact reflect our personal views, no matter how offensive. Logan and Cody and all Logan and Cody Show guest statements and opinions are subject to change without notice.
Logan? Is that you?
Cody, is that you?
Yeah, man. How's it been going?
Where have you been? Is Matt with you?
Wait, is this you guys? Hey, Logan, Cody.
Well, since we're all here, we might as well do the show.
Has anybody seen Stu?
Stu never comes on the air. Nobody cares. He's just an intern.
All right, let's start the show.
Here we go.
These drivers are as crazy as I am. So here we go. Drivers, start your engine.
You're listening to The Logan and Cody Show.
And we're back with another episode of The Logan and Cody Show. After a long hiatus, I'm your host, Cody, with my buddy Logan. Logan, how have you been?
I'm doing great, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I can't believe the show's back. Matt, the producer's back. Stu's back. We picked him up. He accepted another unpaid internship position. So it's, I'm pretty happy. We'll see where this goes.
What have you been doing for the last 3 months?
Well, as you know, I was homeless. So, my buddy Greg Froelich was nice enough to take me in. So I moved in with him, and on Tuesday he kicked me out. So I had to come back and do the show. What have you been up to?
Well, first off, why did he kick you out? Were you stealing his stuff?
It wasn't working out. We have a difference of opinion on certain things. We're best friends on 99% of it, but that 1% we just couldn't get past.
Okay. I just want to make sure you weren't sniffing his underwear or anything like that.
No. He's an attractive guy, but no, not yet at least.
I took some horrible advice from Stu, about 2 weeks after the show went on hiatus. He calls me up one night. It's like 11 o'clock at night. I'm like, yes, what do you want, Stu? And he's telling me about this awesome new coin called the Cody coin, Cody with the K. And he's telling me that if you invest your money in this, Logan, you're going to make millions. You won't need the show anymore. It's the next best thing. And I was like, okay, Stu, whatever. And I kind of blew him off. And then every day he kept calling me and he's sending me articles. And then after a while, I started to believe him. So you know what I did? I sold all my Tesla shares, which was about $21,000. And I put it all in the Cody coin with a K. And about after a week, I looked, it was up to like 30 grand. I'm like, oh yeah, Stu's the man. Well, I forgot all about it. I looked at it 2 weeks ago. You know how much money I have in my account?
How much?
$48.
Yeah, it was the old pump and dump. Stu was supposed to tell us when he was getting out of that. And I didn't have any money to buy in, but he was supposed to tell you and Matt, the producer, when he was going to sell and dump the coin. And apparently he forgot. And now you both have been ruined financially. Is that correct?
I got nothing, man. I'm going to be homeless. I can't believe it. And I come rolling into work today, and he has a Mercedes-Benz. This guy used to come to work on a bicycle. And I'm not talking a motorcycle. I'm talking a bike with pedals. And now he has a Mercedes-Benz.
Dude, Stu's rolling in it now. He's doing quite well for himself.
And Matt and I have nothing, because I heard Matt got suckered into this too, but he won't talk about it. He's depressed.
Yeah, Matt, what's been going on with your life since the show went on hiatus?
Oh, yeah, me? Well, yeah, nothing.
And that's Matt the producer for you, ladies and gentlemen. So Logan, what do we got on tap for the show? It's coming back. We want to go with sort of the same vibe, but we don't want to go with the same vibe. I don't know. What are we doing here?
This year, instead of doing interviews, we're going to do a coffee time. We're going to get together with different people within the iRacing community. And we're just going to have some coffee, have some good talks. And then,
We have the Logan and Cody Show Masterpiece Theater, where we pick an interaction between two people and we have two random people read it. It's pretty entertaining. I think we have Brian Knuutti on the show, don't we?
yeah, so Brian Knuutti is actually going to have his own show with the Logan and Cody Show network. So every other week, he's going to have his own show called Sloppy Seconds.
With Brian Knuutti though. And the theme song goes it hasn't been quite finalized yet, but I got a sneak peek in the recording room today, and it's kind of like Sloppy Seconds with Brian Knuutti.
Yeah, it's going to be a killer show. I'm excited to hear it.
Yeah, so that's the other thing we should mention too, is that we're going on to an every other week schedule, and Brian will be in between when we are not aired on that week, correct?
That is correct. That is what the head office told me we're doing.
Nice. And they actually paid Brian to do a show.
Yes, they are paying him an undisclosed amount of money. What did you say when head office called you and said they wanted to do a season 2 of the Logan and Cody Show?
I quite frankly was shocked. I didn't believe it. The payphone they called me on, I was lucky enough to answer when they were calling. It was a weird coincidence. But I hung up. I kind of laughed it off. But yeah, they came and saw me, said we're doing the show again. So yeah, I figured, I'm literally doing nothing else, and we'll do the show. Let's just get right into it here. This week has been a weird week. I think we can all address the elephant in the room, and that is the SERL Superspeedway series. Logan, you want to give the overview of this one?
A couple of weeks ago, you were removed from the SERL Superspeedway Series League. And what was the reason they gave you for your removal?
I was not given a specific reason, but I think it was for arguing with Dakota. My impression was that we had reached an amicable conclusion last Thursday. And on Sunday I received a refund in my PayPal account, and I was removed from the league.
So basically after Cody, you got removed. There was a bunch of members that were not happy with the explanation of what happened during one of the races, where a car coming out of pit road, I think there was actually 2 cars coming out of pit road, came onto the racetrack. They weren't up to full speed. They were side by side. It caused a big wreck. And because of that wreck and the explanation that the admins gave, kind of divided the group, and then people started trolling from there and basically pissed off the SERL admin team. Yeah,
and to be fair to the admin team over there, we are a lot to handle. Full disclosure, they inherited the league from Dillon Redding, who we're actually going to have on the show a little bit to talk about this, but they inherited the league from Dillon, and it was a group of people that didn't take the league that seriously. We just kind of went on, had a good time. If we all wrecked at the end, it's super speedway racing. That's what happens. I mean, we had good finishes, but if we didn't, it wasn't the end of the world. And I think it was just a sort of a differing of worlds, in the sense that I think they wanted to take the league in a much more serious business-like direction, where we were still in the league that Dillon created for a lot of us just to hang out and have fun.
Yeah, and when you say that they didn't take it serious, it wasn't like they were out there wrecking people and stuff like that. It was just more, they were laid back. If something happens, it's like, oh well, you wreck, it happens at super speedways. Where there's other people from the SERL core group of guys who... Like Larry, who would freak out over everything. Like, you wreck on the last lap, it's the end of the world. Where the rest of us are just like, oh, whatever happens, and we move on with our life. Right, yeah, we might be mad for 2.5 minutes, but then we're all hanging out in the Discord just having fun, and if somebody gets bent out of shape, we let them have it, as one naturally does, right? Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is that the two sides never really got together. Like, you never had the two of them in the same Discord. Did you notice that? It was always separate. You mean like the SERL people stayed in the SERL Discord and we stayed in the CSRA Discord? Yeah, like they were never in the same chat room. It was like it's like two different communities, and they just kind of never united. They were two separate communities racing on the track at the same time, and I think it caused a lot of tension, really. Yeah, and there was probably maybe even subconsciously sort of the, who are these people coming in and, changing everything and making the league different. And, this league was fine before all these new rules, which, I mean, it wasn't our league, so it's not really fair of us to feel that way, but I think that some of that might have factored into it. For sure. And then, so basically at the end of the race yesterday, I think 10 people were probably removed? Maybe even more?
Yeah, it was pretty extreme. It was a rapid response, and it reached all corners of the SCSRA universe.
The sad part for the league is that those people that you removed were your front running people. I was the points leader, and I got canned. Colin Willems, all these guys were top running people who got removed.
Yeah, we should go over, real quick. I think it's you, me, Colin Willems, James Kunkel, David Chaput, our good friend. Michael Provolt, oddly enough, was not removed. Will Witt was removed. Was Mark Shavers removed?
I don't think he was, but Josh Hall was.
Josh Hall was very surprised that he was removed. Yeah, I think there's a few other people there, but, yeah, it has to be a big part of that league, that got removed. But, yeah, and I think it was sort of a severing of ties in a sense that the admin that runs SERL, left the SCSRA Discord, and he left, unfortunately he left the Logan and Cody Show Discord, which we have reached out to Dakota, to give him a chance to come on. We'd love for him to come on and tell his side of it, but he has declined. So unfortunately we are going to have Dillon Redding on. Well, not unfortunately, we love Dillon Redding, but we're going to have the next best thing, Dillon Redding, who is on the admin team during Coffee Talk. And we actually get into it a little bit during that. And on top of all this going on with the Super Speedway series, the broadcast was actually ended during the third place participants post-race interview, which oddly enough was you, Logan. And we've actually recovered the lost audio of the end of that race, and we're going to play it for you right now.
Colin Willems, great job out there tonight. Tell us a little bit about your race.
It was a pretty good race overall. Felt good to put it up on the pole there. Just wanted to have a good pace, for my qualifying lap, just so everyone, during the race would know, how fast I was. But yeah, sorry, go ahead, Dakota.
I was gonna ask you, what's up with those paint schemes tonight?
Well, like we said, we all wanted to make sure that everybody knew that we were on the same team. And we just wanted to be pace setters. So, we thought what better way to do that than to be pace cars.
Is there anyone you want to thank?
Yeah, I want to thank, Cody Moore, for everything he's done developing my career and getting me to this level. The 52 car, for everything that he's done for me as well. I want to thank Kunkel, for, setting a good pace for the field tonight. There's the green flag pit stop. He held a really good pace down, pit road, obviously, and beat me out of the pits and paced the field to a win. So shout out to him for that. Chaput as well, Logan, and everybody else, Mick for the cool paint jobs, and you for, your overwhelming consistency.
And that was the second place interview. And now we're going to go to the winners interview. Let's take a listen.
Hi, James Kunkel. Way to run tonight. Great win. How'd it go for you?
Oh, hey, Dakota, thanks. Oh, it went awesome tonight. Awesome race. Had a lot of fun. Really happy to get the win. Love everybody in this league and can't wait to race every race for the rest of the season.
Now, James, tell me a little bit about your strategy tonight and how that went.
Well, we got a 4 or 5 car breakaway with a bunch of teammates there. We had a much faster pace than the rest of the field. So, we kind of just put it together, same strategy, and helped us stay out front and get the win.
James, is there anyone you'd like to thank, any of your teammates or anything?
Yeah, I'll thank everybody in Race Chat Room 1. Couldn't ask for a better team there. I love this league so much. And, like I said, every single race on the schedule from here on out, I just can't wait to run. Really excited to complete this season, in its entirety. So, I just got to thank you for allowing me to race every week. Yeah, and I couldn't have done it without Colin. He pushed me, from when I took the lead from him, all the way to the win. So, can't thank that guy enough. He's, obviously a very, very talented driver, very handsome, did a fantastic job helping me get to the win.
Thank you, James. We appreciate it.
Get ready for this new book, Get Rich Quick with Ian Martin, a how-to guide on making as much money as possible on iRacing using the pyramid schemes, grip hacks, and fake charities.
in the studio with us, we have Brian Knuutti, living legend. Brian, how are you?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing wonderful.
Nudie, what are your thoughts on the Devin Butchino and Isaiah Gill rivalry?
Oh man. Well, as you know, Isaiah is a good friend of mine. He co-owns a business with me, and he also is my teammate. And then also we have Devin Butchino, who is a big time sponsor of the series. Both of them are great racers. Definitely a feud's kind of sparked up with him. It started back at, a mile and a half.
Nashville?
Nashville. Yeah. It happened at Nashville where, looked like, you know, it was hard racing. They were racing for, I believe, 4th position. And looked like Devin kind of pinched down Isaiah a little bit. Isaiah came up a little bit, kind of just a racing deal, but Butchino didn't really like it and, kind of carried over to the next week.
Are you biased when it comes to these two?
Slightly, just because, Isaiah, you know, he's my teammate and, he's also a longtime friend.
When Butchino, he wants us to say it correctly, it's Butchino. When Butchino says that you're gonna make a new rule every week, how does that make you feel?
I mean, I know he's just joking, but at the same time too, right now, we are still kind of a newer league, so I am still kind of, you know, we're the three of us, me, Sylvan, and Black, we're still kind of making up the rule book as we go, you know, as we see something that's like, hey, that should be a rule, and, you know, then we'll make it a rule. And, you know, we're fluid when it comes to the rules.
So who you got for the winner this week?
Definitely gotta say a track like this.
Sounds like we have a caller on the line. Logan and Cody Show.
Hey, Bustin Bean here.
Oh, Bustin Bean. Good to hear from you, buddy.
Yeah, I've been on, you know, a hiatus thing, you know, just, you know, just, on the hiatus, stopped iRacing for a bit, but, you know, I got my rig back up and going and Sharon, shut the hell up. I'm serious, Sharon. Knock it off.
For our listeners that don't know, Sharon is Bustin's beloved cat.
Sharon, she's eating poop again. Sharon, get out of there. Serious. Knock it off. Anyway. So, you know, I got the rig, I'm gonna set it back up, gonna get going, gonna get out there and, looking at joining, this new league. It's called, they race on Mondays and Tuesday nights, I believe.
Yeah, what kind of wheel do you have for your rig?
Oh, man, I got this wicked, Logitech.
Yeah, is it customized?
Oh yeah, of course it's customized. You should see the wheel on this bad boy. I actually took it off of, my Geo Metro. I took the wheel off of that and I bolted it to it.
All right. Well, Bustin, we'll sure we'll
Sharon,
hear from
knock
you more,
it off. I'm serious.
more this season. But it's great for you to call in and, call back anytime, buddy.
Yeah, sounds good.
Bustin Bean, always a treat.
Grab a drink and enjoy the show. It's coffee time.
Welcome to Coffee Time on the Logan and Cody Show. I'm your host, Codificus Myers Makers More, with my co-host, Logan. Today's show is brought to you by Stephen Black's coffee company, The Morning Positivity Blend. On today's show, we have Dillon Redding and Isaiah Gill. Gentlemen, nice to have you. How have you guys been?
Just living the life of an iRacer, I guess.
You know, I have some questions, Cody, and I'm hoping you can help me out with this.
Of course.
What is it fundamentally about iRacing that creates so much drama? You know, it's a video game and I have fun playing it, but if I don't play it on a specific night or miss a race, I don't lose any sleep. And if somebody wrecks me or does something boneheaded, I don't get that upset. But it seems like I'm in a bit of a minority in that regard. Just curious if you all have any thoughts about this. Something about iRacing seems to really bring out the worst in people sometimes. And I wonder sometimes if there's a problem with the content, the game, so to speak, but that seems to rub people the wrong way. I don't know. Maybe it's just people being competitive, but I was just thinking about that today.
I think it's the competitiveness. Some people are just extremely competitive, and when they lose, they get upset about it. Like, for instance, if I go hardcore crazy on Monopoly, it's a freaking board game, but like, if I lose my shit. Just how some people are. Some people are more laid back. I picture you, Dillon, as a more laid back type of guy. Somebody wrecks you, you just kind of forget about it, move on. But there's other people like Brian Murrell Jr. You wreck that guy and we all hear about it for a week over our radio. And,
yeah. Or he wrecks you and we all hear about it over the radio for a week.
What do you think, Gill?
I would say I also think it's just based on what he said is who you are, because when I feel about it sometimes, if I'm gonna put time on the game and my money on the game, it's not fun to get wrecked on lap 1 or 10 by the, say, quote, wannabe race car drivers out there. For the people who, aren't top 10 cars and want to be top 10 cars and drive like their first place cars. I just think it depends on how you take it and who you are.
I think it might be a passion thing too. If you're playing, I don't know, Call of Duty or something, like it really is just a video game and nobody has a particular interest in doing, warfare, so to speak. But people that play iRacing like racing and they like race cars and they have a particular passion about it that the average sort of casual race fan or non-race fan wouldn't play iRacing, so maybe that's what it is that people are particularly passionate about racing if they find themselves in a situation where they're racing in an iRacing league race. It's like a small subset of people. So maybe that's what it is.
I think a big part of it is to, like, for example, our Wednesday night league we do, it only comes around once a week and you only get one shot at it. And we've gotten to know each other pretty good over the last year or whatever. And you naturally want to do well, in front of your friends and you want to beat them naturally. But I think a lot of the iRacing is, and officials too, right? I've got a lot riding on this. I've got one shot. And if I'm wrecked out in the first 2 laps, like I've been looking forward to this all week.
Yeah, I agree with that. I also think another things that get to people's head is also the broadcast. It's just wanting to get their name out there. So if they're up in the top 10, getting their name out there.
Yeah, I think broadcasting does crazy things to people. Speaking of, Isaiah, have you ever raced any of the Southern Excitement Racing League series?
I don't think so. If it ain't a short track league, I'm not in.
Oh, interesting.
I used to be in the Cup and the Truck series of SERL, and I actually had to stop racing with those guys because I'm not exaggerating. I was finishing last every week. It was way too advanced for me. Like, I think Cody, you'd be right in the middle of the pack. I mean, there's a lot of talent in that league and they take it really seriously. And it wasn't the right fit for me because I couldn't compete at all. I was laps down every race. So I was like, wow, these guys are crazy.
They have some aliens in that league. I ran a truck race with them one time and I could run like top 5, but the leader had just checked all the way out.
What I want to know with Gill is what's going on with you and Devin?
Oh, there's a lot going on with that. I think it carried over from the other league that we have. For some reason, he just, wants to, bang my doors. So, I mean, we got a few things coming in the works of that, and guess we'll just figure out how this goes on the rest of the season.
Wait, what other league is that?
It was the league we all ran before this. I don't know if we say the names around here, but
Oh, yeah. The league that should not, well, now we have 2 of those, but yeah, the league that should not be mentioned.
Yes.
Yeah, Devin seems to think that you're just completely reckless and you have no regard for anyone else.
Which is crazy because every race I've raced, I've had a 0X, including Martinsville.
I'll say this is that the race on Wednesday was 130 laps at Kentucky, caution free, but yet Devin still had 16 incident points.
But I'm the problem. But, it's just non-race car drivers wanting to be race car drivers.
Have you ever raced in a caution-free race that was a worse race than that Kentucky race?
Like in general?
Yeah, like people usually, the goal is let's avoid cautions.
I have. There's a league that I run in. It's the Northwest Tour, by LSR TV, super lates. We did the Snowball Derby, 300 lap, green flag all the way through, except for the competition yellow for tires.
But were you satisfied with that, or did you feel it wasn't? Because I felt like that Kentucky race was not a good product, and it wasn't fun, and we were all just crawling around the track trying to save tires.
I enjoyed the race.
You won the race.
I also enjoyed it.
I'm glad that I'm, in the minority, because that's better, but I just felt like it was not a fun experience.
It's like that it was different. If every race was caution free, then I'd probably get bored with it. But the fact that like some races have lots of cautions, some don't have very many, some races you have more sets of tires, some you have less. It just kind of changes the dynamic. It just gives you a different experience every time. So I enjoy that.
Yeah, I guess I'm either way about it because I kind of like that close combat door-to-door racing. And when you go 130 lap screen and the field gets stretched out. I'm more of a restart guy, so when Cody's out front minding his business, you're not catching that guy on tracks like these. It's just, you're not getting that much time.
Well, kind of like Logan said, I don't want every race to go caution free, but I did enjoy that race because it was one of the few races where you kind of started to see guys that went really hard started dropping back. They would pass you. Like, I remember Blink passed me at one point, and then within about 5 laps, I passed him back and started gapping him. And I didn't really change my pace. But yeah, I enjoyed the race because it just felt like there was a lot of strategy at play. You could short pit, you could do a lot of different things, and I like the way it turned out, but I don't think that'll be the way we go from here.
Next thing I want to do is I want to ask Dillon. A lot of stuff went down yesterday, and I just kind of want to know your opinion of what went on in the Superspeedway SERL series race last night.
You know, it's really hard to admin a league. I know that Logan and Cody know that with their experience in a league where you're trying to do the best you can, and there's a lot of frustration. People don't like what you're doing. And, you know, at least for me personally, there's a couple competing instincts that you have as an admin, as a leader in that situation. You want to either quit. You want to either tell them best of luck, have a nice day, like you want to ignore what they're saying, or you want to try to do your best to, you know, be flexible and make changes to accommodate what they're saying. You really can only do one of those three things. Most people try to do kind of a combination of two of those. But given the competitive nature of iRacing, especially in a situation where you have a lot of people coming into something with a preconceived notion of what it should be, which is what we had here, because we started with the league that I ran over the summer, which was handled a certain way by me. And it was taken in another direction that I think a lot of people weren't satisfied with. And there was a lack of communication, and it wasn't handled well on either side, in my opinion. And as a result, we had something occur last night that I think was problematic for both sides for multiple reasons. And now we're in a situation where people are going their separate ways and not racing with each other anymore. And it's a shame.
And quickly, we should just give the listeners a little context here. You ran a super speedway series over the summer. Dakota Camper took it over for season 2 because you weren't interested in running it. Since that season has started, there's been 10 or 11 people removed from that series. And last night was the majority of them at the end of the race.
Yeah, I think that's a fair summary, unless there's something I'm forgetting. You know, my perspective as the person who started the league and then decided I'm not doing it anymore, I was thankful that Dakota said, I'm going to pick this up and I'm going to keep it going. I want you to be involved and I want all your friends to keep racing in it. I'm still appreciative of that. And I know that he put a lot of work into, you know, rebranding it, kind of bringing in all of the structure that he has inside of his SERL thing. And I was troubled by how it all fell apart. And, you know, I wish that he could have gotten out in front of what really ended up kind of taken too far yesterday, to the point where he felt like he had no other choice but to kind of break away from a large group of people in the league. Hindsight's 20/20 and we can't go back, and it's just one of those things. But it's caused me to kind of take stock in the importance of communication, and also how different leagues are. Like League 1 versus League 2 can be completely different, and people might not fit in one place as well as they do somewhere else. It's not really all just the basic driving the race cars. Like there's a lot more that goes into being in a league and making it work and being friends with people. And, you know, I think we were in a situation with the SERL Superspeedway yesterday where it wasn't working and people weren't fitting together. And maybe it's for the best that what happened did happen, but I still think it was a shame. For sure. And we really do appreciate you sharing your perspective on that. We wanted to get somebody that was close to the situation, that wasn't just gonna bash on the situation or be unfair. I think that's probably all the time we have for coffee time, but you know, maybe if this story keeps going, we'll have you on again, Dillon, to explain yourself. And Gill, you did great. I thought this was a 2-hour segment. Did I get the incorrect memo? Yeah, that's Matt, the producer's fault. And Stu's. We'll blame them both. Well, thanks for having me, guys. I always enjoy it. We appreciate you guys being on. Gill, take care, buddy.
You too.
Larry! 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 Larry!
Hey guys, my name's
Larry!
Today I'm going to show you around my Ford Focus.
Larry!
He has a NASCAR license.
I was calling you, Larry! Larry! Larry!
Well, I think it's time for the Larry Report.
Last week, Larry rolled off the grid from the 8th position in the SERL Superspeedway Series race at Michigan. Larry led one lap out of the 75-lap event with an average lap time of 56.786 seconds. Blazing! Fast lap time of 39.319 seconds, and had 12 incident points before crossing the finish line in 10th place. Larry gained 3 positions and now sits in the 16th position in the point standings. On November the 11th, Larry started the race from the 13th position at iRacing Superspeedway. Larry led 0 laps out of the 50-lap race with an average lap time of 59.725 seconds. Larry's fastest lap came on lap 39 with a blistering lap time of 45.774 seconds. When it was all said and done, Larry crossed the finish line in the 22nd position, 4 laps down, with 6 incident points. Even though Larry finished deep in the field, he still managed to gain 10 positions in the points and now sits 6th in the SERL Superspeedway Series point standings.
Logan and Cody's Masterpiece Theater.
Welcome to the Logan and Cody Show Masterpiece Theater, where we reenact real-life events with people that had nothing to do with the situation. We'll start off with a conversation between Devin Butchino and Kyle Mays.
At Kyle Mays, none of these were your fault, right?
Brian Knuutti then interjected, "You should show all of them." Devin Butchino continued,
"What else is there to show? Me racing him hard, but not making any contact?"
Actually, the last 2 were simply because you was driving me like a dick because you were so pissed over the first one.
Yeah, but I can race you hard and race on your door and not make eye contact with you. That's the difference. But, I mean, I guess, did I race at Josh Hall harder than I should have? Yes. And am I sorry for that? Cam was in front of us, and I was trying to keep pace with him in case a caution came out. That is 100% my fault. But I never made contact with Kyle, so what did I do wrong there?
I don't think I've ever had anyone drive me like you did the first 30 laps of that race, but I guess we're just supposed to take it.
What did I do to you that has you oh so upset?
Well, 1, you get mad at Blink the lap before and say it's too early for that. Then you go 3 wide. Too early, you say. And Mather was coming down. I was trying to get out of it without getting ran over. Then every time I tried to pass you, you'd cut across my nose, and the reason we weren't making any contact is because I lifted. If I couldn't hold my line while you was on my door, we would have wrecked multiple times. You say that riding on the door is all fine, but I think you have wrecked at Isaiah Gill and a few other people accidentally doing the same thing. It's no accident if you keep doing it time and time again.
I ran you door 1 time on lap 8. I was on your door once. I cleared up in front of you twice on exit that we were a little late. Wasn't running you all over the track for the first 30 laps like you were making it sound. And I actually haven't wrecked anybody other than Isaiah accidentally at RA. Definitely was entering slower than you were trying to save my stuff. You were driving in deeper than I was. Think I was doing that, checking up on you on entry. That is not the case.
This has been another exciting edition of the Logan and Cody Show Masterpiece Theater. Thank you to Blake Hensley and Josh, the conspiracy guy. And that's all the time we have this week. Before we leave though, we're going to do one of our favorite segments called What We Learned on the Show. Logan, you want to start off?
What I learned this week is that Dakota's life has been turned upside down, and I'm just picturing him running around his room ripping posters off his wall like a teenage girl.
Matt, the producer, what did you learn?
I learned that I'm never taking financial advice from Stu ever again. How about
Solid.
you, Cody?
I learned that SCSRA can go 130 laps caution free at Kentucky, and I won.
And Devin Bacino got 16 incident points.
Somehow, when everyone else had a 0x. But anyway. Well, as always, we want to thank all of you listeners out there. Hopefully this season goes as well as our last season. The response was overwhelming. That's why we brought the show back. We had a blast doing it. It won't have as much video this time around. I think that's what kind of put the show on a hiatus the first time. It was just too much work on our part, but we will try to bring back what we can. Let us know. Reach out to our numerous social media accounts. We have a website, theloganandcodyshow.com. We have an AOL account that Stu set up for some odd reason. It's the Logan and Cody Show at AOL.com. But seriously, we want to thank all of the listeners. We want to thank Dakota Camper for putting on the Super Speedway series. Even though most of us were removed, we still appreciate it. When he came in last season and did the broadcasting, it was a huge help, and we're still all appreciative of it. We want to thank Dillon Redding for coming on the show. We want to thank Isaiah Gill for coming on the show. We want to thank Brian Knuutti for making an appearance. And thank you to everyone who helps us put the show on, even you, Stu. I hate you and that new car you have. We will see you again in 2 weeks on the Logan and Cody Show. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, that'd be highly entertaining. Who keeps texting me? It's him just playing the sound in this room. Yes, I like that. I might just pay the $5.99 a month for the service that does it automatically. Yeah, that show's gonna really suck.
Maybe throw in Beer Ken.
And then we're gonna follow it up with 5 hours of conspiracy theories.
Actually, that might be funny.
And just hit him with it, like live on the air.
I like it. We'll do it. Nah. Oh, you doing the radioactive? That shit was cold.
Damn it.
Larry Dickerson.
Well, I think it's time for the Larry Report.
Bleavin' stack. Baristas in the background?
Yeah.
Like some dishes clanging maybe? Oh, he lives for this. Is there any way we can make this work?
How much do we gotta pay him?
Well, don't go down that road yet. I don't want to pay anybody. We don't have to.
I got a NASCAR license.
Damn it, Matt!
You had one fucking job.
One fucking job. No, we're not negative. That's what people like. We're positive. He's probably gonna be like everyone, like, what the fuck is this guy's deal?
Who the fuck is this Larry guy? Wait, I finished 10th. Had 12 incident points.
Oh God. We'll change his voice. We'll put him behind one of them black screens so nobody can see him.
Oh my God, dude, I couldn't control myself.
Was the phone ever gonna ring during that segment, or were we just gonna die and then the phone rings? Jesus. This is terrible. Yo quiero Taco Bell.
Oh God. Josh, you're not even reading the right words. Sloppy seconds with Brian Knuutti.
Did I say the show is gonna last 3 weeks? I give it 2.